Hi, I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. And today we're gonna check out the 2022 RX 350 and see why it was the favorite mid-size luxury SUV for so many years, even before this body style, which came out in 2016. But before I do that, make sure you check out the rest of our channel, look at some of our older videos, hit subscribe and that like button, and of course leave a comment, because I'll always try to get to the comments. Okay, so this particular one behind me is a pre-owned vehicle that we have. It's a 2022 RX 350 F Sport Series 3. So this is the fully loaded F Sport version, and it's very easy to see why even on the used market, these things go very fast. Not driving very fast, they sell very fast. So taking a look at that front grille, we have our massive F Sport spindle grille. Now when this grille came out in 2016, a lot of people were up in arms about it. Some people loved it, some people hated it, but you could always get it with the luxury front grille or the executive front grille, where it's a little bit less aggressive than this. Also, we have the triple beam LED headlights, followed by the daytime running light of the frosted white glass there in the signature Lexus headlight or daytime running light. Under that we have a headlight washer, some F Sport venting to the sides of that bumper to keep it looking really sporty and aggressive. However, you'll notice if you ever see a 2019, 2018, 17 or 16 RX F Sport, you'll notice the bottom grille is a little more aggressive on those. It has a little bit more lip, which I actually really liked. I kind of missed that they got rid of that, but I'm sure there's a reason. Maybe too many people were scraping it on things, or maybe the fuel economy or something. But this new one still has a little gray, light gray diffuser down there. It is kind of a matte plastic color. Also, that dark chrome matches so nicely. I like the smoked out chrome look. Sometimes it can be hard to keep clean because it does show watermarks a little bit more than a bright chrome, but I still absolutely love it. Also, you'll notice there is some really sharp lines coming up that hood, and it kind of lines up perfectly to the grille there, and again, just really ties in that front end. As for the side of the vehicle, so as we move over to the silhouette of the side, you'll notice there are sharp body lines everywhere. We have this body line that continues from the fender into the center of the door handle, and above that, it almost meets with another body line that continues from the front of the hood. So I noticed certain colors you can't really see this on. Honestly, white is one of those colors you can't see it as much on, but the atomic silver, which is a big favorite, the nebula gray, which is a big favorite, those ones you can really see the curvature of those lines. I think because they're more metallic in the paint. I'm not sure. Also, we have blacked out mirrors with some chrome around them, the F Sport logo on the fender, a 20-inch multi-spoke gray wheel with a Michelin tire. Now, that gray has a little bit of a pearl to it, but nothing too crazy there, and it is pretty easy to keep clean. It's kind of the color of brake dust, if that makes sense to you. But overall, you'll see a zoomed out look of that RX 350 side profile, and this is a big reason why it was such a big seller for so many years, is it's looked super modern and super forward thinking since like 2016. And also, one thing to mention about the RX 350 is when it was designed to ride like a luxury sedan. And when I mean that, I mean from the 2016 model on. So luxury sedans like the GS, the LS have always had a really smooth, comfortable ride. SUVs never used to do that until the 2016 RX, in my opinion. Also, another thing I really love about the side profile is the door handles. I've always liked how when you walk up to the vehicle, they light up really nicely. They have a nice shape to them, a really nice solid feel, and even the doors, opening and closing the doors, feel super solid, and they've done a great job with that as well. We do have sort of a matte black fender plastic, probably to protect some of that body lines from the paint chips and stones and that sort of thing. You know, some people love it, some people wish it was body color. To me, it doesn't really matter. Okay, looking at the rear. So the rear of the RX, there are a few really nice details that you'll realize not every luxury vehicle has. One of them is that the wiper is hidden up under this little visor here. So some people have said in the past that that's for Canadian winters. Yes, that is a benefit of it, but I think it's a styling thing. Instead of having a big wiper right in the center here that is always gonna be parked one side or the other, having it hidden is just super sharp and just a really nice touch. We also have some blacked out chrome here, sort of complementing underneath that Lexus logo. We have some other chrome down here that doesn't quite match the same color as the smoked. One of them is this bumper protector here, but there is more smoked chrome at the bottom, right above that rear diffuser. And you'll notice a different chrome on this side by the exhaust. So again, a couple different tones there. Most people wouldn't even notice that they don't match, but it is important to note. Also, let me show you those taillights. So in the 2020 and up model, you get these combination lamps. So I really like them. I think that they remind me of the LC500. It's kind of have a layered look to it. And then the signal lights is underneath it. So again, just a really cool modern taillight combination lamp sort of setup. Trunk space, it's a really nice height for loading in and out, whether it's heavy objects, golf clubs. You could definitely fit at least 2 sets of golf clubs in here, groceries, etc. However, you should notice that when stacking your luggage, the angle of that hatch does limit a little bit of the height unless you put the objects further into the trunk space. So that's the only gripe there. There is some hooks and things like that to, be able to stack your groceries. Power folding seats for the back. Also a full-size tire under that under that false floor. So on the inside of the 2022 an RX 350 F Sport, we have a lot going on here. So we have some nice color tones, some silvers and some grays. Some of the grays are plastic, but they do match each other quite nicely. Then we have some aluminum pieces that are aluminum, and they're more like a silver with a texture to it. I really like that. I think even the one on the door panel here, it is nice to touch. And it's got a little bit of a texture to it that you can actually feel, which again is just a really nice part of a layered interior like this. The dashboard itself has a lot going on, but no big deal there. We have some, stitching and that sort of thing. One pro tip on any of these RX 350s, if you live in a hot climate, maybe the Southern States or Southern Ontario in the summertime, try not to, dust off this dash with a microfiber. It is a little bit better to do that on a cooler day just so it doesn't leave any marks. That's just something I noticed. But the rest of the interior is pretty easy to keep clean. You can just use a microfiber for it. We do have the Lexus remote here, as well as a touchscreen on any of the RXs that are 2020 and newer. So you can choose between, using your mouse here and not having to reach, or you can just reach, touch the screen. Also, you can make it split screen, have your navigation on one side, your music on the other. And whenever you're reading reviews about this remote touch interface, I find you need to spend at least 2 days with it, and then you'll get really fluent. And a lot of those times the reviewers only do it like in an afternoon, and that could be why they didn't quite figure it out. But once you get it down pat, it is really great. We also have a phone holder here that's padded, and even my Samsung S22 Ultra or whatever I have, the biggest phone that I've ever had, does fit there nice. We also have a wireless charger just to the front of that. Some different drive modes. I will say the Sport RX, I like the drive of it better than the Executive and the Luxury because it is tighter. So when you're handling it, it is tighter. It gets rid of that body roll. And when you put it in Sport Plus, which is only offered on the F Sports, it tightens that up even more so that when you're turning, the car almost feels like it's leaning into the turn instead of away from the turn. I will say the Executive and Luxury models have a really soft suspension, really quiet ride, but the handling when you're turning, you'll feel a little bit of that body roll. So ask yourself that when you're shopping at these RXs, do you want something that's really soft and a little bit body rolly, but the best ride quality, or something that's tighter? Do you like to feel the road a little bit, feel the steering a little bit? If so, you would go with the Sport. Another thing about the Sport is the way the seats fit. So the F Sport seats do really hug you, especially on that lower back. They are a little bit stiffer. I like it because it helps my posture, I find. And then when I'm steering, I'm not like flopping around the front seat or anything like that. But again, some people might find them too stiff, too much bolstering, that sort of thing. So it is really much about preference. But there still is some really good tech in here as well for being, you know, a car designed for 2016 and newer. So we have bird's eye view, heads-up display, Mark Levinson sound system, which is definitely worth the money in my opinion. We also have, you know, this circuit red interior, where some of the previous years where it was Rioja red, which was a lot darker. This circuit red is a little bit brighter and in your face. But overall, a sporty, luxurious, high-end interior for obviously a great car. So the comfort factor really does continue in the back of the RX 350, especially in this one. So I have a few things back here. I have some heated seats for both of these sides, which you can control to the center here. We do have some vents and some USB ports. They are not the USB-Cs, they're just the regular ones, but that still does the trick. We also have a center armrest that folds down with cup holders and some storage space. But the size itself is what's really great, especially with that panel roof. I'm pretty comfortable back here. I could have 2 more people, no problem. I'm 6'1". I have lots of room in front of me, lots of room above me. So this just really continues on. This is a great vehicle for driving around friends or I guess a family as well, or a road trip car because of how much space is even back here. Another big favorite of this body style RX is of course the powertrain. A 3.5 liter V6 with just under 300 horsepower, mated to an 8-speed transmission that both of those together have been very tried and true, super reliable. It takes regular gas, which is another great thing. It's smooth, it sounds great. It's not gonna blow your socks off in terms of like, you know, versus some of the V10s and V8s and stuff like that, but it definitely does the trick. And I wouldn't be afraid of even a high mileage RX 350 as long as everything in the inside works and you see some maintenance records. This can take care of you for a very long time. So you can easily see why the RX 350 was such and still is such a great seller in the luxury market, especially that 2016 to 22 segment, and now the 23 segment, even surpassing the numbers that we did in those previous years. But it still fits in, it still looks great on the road, it's still a great purchase, and I think you'll still see lots of these on the road for years to come. Thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Mason at Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. Remember, we are a real dealership here in St. Catharines and a part of the Performance Auto Group. So if you ever wanted to check out an RX 350 like this one, or even an older one or newer one, this is the place to come. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.